It's really simple. Because when you're a taxpayer ledger, it feels like accounting 2.0. But this sounds, like anyone can, figure it out as long as you're literate. And you say this one is much more simplified, right?
Yeah.
So what other features should people, look out for and be excited about with this new tax statement?
The other thing that should really excite people about this new one, we have interlinked it with our different modules. For example, the objection module. Before, a taxpayer would object to a given liability, but would still keep on running on their tax ledger as though it's not in dispute, yet a decision is not yet given to them.
Right.
So the officers in the correction offices would keep on demanding for the money. For the new one, we have interlinked it to the objections module.
Okay.
We are also going to interlink it to the court applications.
Okay.
So once the taxpayer goes to court or TAT or even applies for alternative dispute resolution, we always set aside that liability from the running tax liability, so that we don't enforce on tax which is already in dispute. Still, with this new ledger, we have also still interlinked it with the MO module.
Okay.
Though this is still under development, but our goal is, if you've signed an MOU, you've sat with your and agreed, I'm going to pay in installment. No one should come and disturb your peace.
Yes, yes.
So this new ledger has really come with very many beautiful features. Most of our taxpayers have been asking for the waiver.
Yes, that's the big question. I'm sure so many are tuned in because,
Exactly.
they want to know more.
So with this new ledger, the waiver is embedded in there and is clear.
Okay.
Still, with this new ledger, we have made the features so clear that the taxpayer will be in charge of their payments. They'll be the one to decide, what am I clearing now? Where is this liability coming from? It is that simplified.
Very transparent as well.
Exactly.
Okay. And you hinted on the waiver, and this is like the big elephant in the room.
Everyone has been waiting for.
Everyone has been waiting for it, and this is our first webinar on this topic. So we're going to start from the basics. Give us the detail of this. What does Section 40D say? And
40D states that for any taxpayer, as at 30th June 2023, any outstanding penalties and interest will be waived when the taxpayer pays the principal.
Okay.
Subsection 2, if you pay in halves, because not every taxpayer has the money at once,
Yeah.
so subsection 2 caters for those who are going to paying in installments. As long as you pay up your principal by 31st December, we'll keep on waiving in halves. If you pay half, we also waive the outstanding interest and penalty in halves.
What you give is what you get.
Exactly. So every taxpayer, as long as you're willing to pay your principal, you will benefit.
Okay.
And it has an end date. That's what should be marked by our taxpayers. The end date is 31st December 2023. So for all those who want to benefit, they should run and make the payment.
Okay. And where do they run to make these payments?
And how do they know
Yeah.
my outstanding?
Yes. Because now everyone is thinking 31st December is next month. I need to get going, make this happen before the window closes. So what are the next steps?
Exactly. How will our taxpayers know the outstanding principal tax? Because before we rolled out this new ledger, everyone was crying out for, what is my outstanding principal tax? I want to pay, I want to benefit. But we did not have something in place to break down to break down the outstanding principal and interest. What we had before was one solid figure. But this new ledger,
it's all amalgamated, everything.
Exactly. But this new ledger has broken this down for our taxpayers. How do they access it? I'm going to do a small illustration for our taxpayers so that whoever is interested in benefiting from this waiver, one, they get to know how to access the outstanding balances. I'm going to do a small illustration here.
Back to the first one.
I'm going to log in as a taxpayer so that I walk them through the journey of knowing the outstanding principal, tax. Okay, if you're a taxpayer outside there and you want to benefit from 40D, this is what you have to do. Log into your account, like they have logged in into mine. Go to the payment screen under e-services. We have an option of generate payment screen. When you click there, it's the normal payment screen you've been having. However, we have added a few ingredients there. Select the payment type, which is domestic taxes. This waiver is only and only for domestic taxes. So when you get to the payment screen, kindly select domestic taxes. Since you will be inside your TIN account, your details will be displayed. Come to the section of period. We have two sections there. We have the period after July 2021 and the period before July 2021. Why the two periods? Around July 2021, we had a change of law. Because before we had strict payment allocation rules, which our taxpayers didn't like because they had no way of allocating their own payments.
Okay.
So that was amended. And from July 2021, our taxpayers can decide which liability to clear. It's no longer the oldest liability first. That's why we have the two segments, the before and after. The before, since the law can't be applied backwards when it is changed, then we don't do the retrospective. It will have its strict allocations.
Okay.
But the after will follow how the taxpayer chooses to allocate their payments.
Okay.
So let's start with the period of after July 2021. Now, if you want to benefit from the waiver, we have different options under basis of payment. One may choose to clear a particular return, assessment, or audit. Right now, we are interested in the waiver. So you click on your account payment. This is your ledger balance.
Okay.
So once you click there, you select a tax type of your choice. I can select the VAT. Once you select VAT, you fetch the outstanding. Now, when you fetch the outstanding, you're given one block figure, which does not help. The one we had before. So what you do, you can drill further and click on show period-wise breakup. Once you click on that, it will show you the breakdown of your outstanding tax. We have November 2021, interest to that. December 2021, January. So we give you the entire breakdown. If you try to click on January 2022, cost is within the scope of the waiver. If you click to pay full, we'll get a message there telling you amount should not exceed the principal amount for this period. And this is because we have the waiver in play. So you click OK, and the amount that you'll have to pay is only and only the principal tax, and will waive your interest. Where you don't have the full amount, you can still come and type in how much you're willing to pay. We want all our taxpayers to benefit. So you have a choice to come and look at the breakdown. Even where you have outstanding penalty, still will only and only make you pay the outstanding principal tax. And kindly note that this waiver only and only caters for periods whose due dates are prior to 30th June 2023.
Okay.
Meaning from June 2023 up to date, they're not within the waiver scope. Like if you look at my display, January 2023 is not within the scope of the waiver. If I try to pay in full, the entire amount will be accepted. It's not like the way you saw the January 2022, where they told me I can only pay the what? The principal amount. That marks the difference between, to show you that we really cater for the waiver. And we are also strict with the periods within the scope and those out of the scope. After trying out that, you can also try out the period before. Then you can choose maybe still VAT. If you have a liability there, to also display. What I can encourage our taxpayers to do, not to forget the period before July 21.
Okay.
Kindly check those periods. If you don't have a liability there, it is okay. But don't ignore checking. So even here for the periods before, since we had strict allocation rules, we treat that period as one block. So we'll give you the outstanding principal, outstanding interest, and then if you try to pay in full, still will tell you can only pay the principal tax. And once you remit those PRNs to the bank, those payment slips you've generated, you will benefit from the waiver.
Thank you so much, Christine. I think that has been very elaborate, very insightful, and I'm sure our taxpayers, I think the breeze for them to do this. It was very helpful, and I'm just to our taxpayers, if you have any questions at this point, maybe from the tutorial that Kristen just did, please feel free to share your questions. We're here to support you. We're here to make this as easy as can be. And Kristen, URA is conducting an in-person training, right? So we have these virtual ones, but then there's also the one that's actually happening right now as we speak at Sendaula. Is this open to every taxpayer, or it's by invitation? Just speak to that.
This is by invitation, but all our taxpayers are scheduled on a given day.
Okay.
So each and every station, be it up country, be it in Kampala,
cut across the country.
Exactly, across the country. So each and every taxpayer will get an opportunity to be invited and taken through.
Okay.
Because we want to sell out this information to our taxpayers as much as we can.
That's true. That's true.
So each and everyone is scheduled.
Everyone has a chance.
Yes.
Okay. And we also have the Service Excellence Week happening next. It's actually happening tomorrow. From 15th to 17th. Can taxpayers still come in and, be taken through this process in person?
Yes, we encourage our taxpayers to show up because we have staff there already who are going to represent the ledger reconciliation team. They are well trained. They will be able to guide our taxpayers and serve them.
Okay.
Yes.
So, dear taxpayers, this waiver is for you to take advantage of. Don't miss out. Don't fall behind. Just come and make the most of it. Reach out to us. Whether you can call our toll-free line, you can reach out on our social media platforms. We are all over the internet, so always feel free to send in your questions, and yeah, we're happy to support you. Want you to make the most of this, and make sure you meet your tax obligations. And I mean, who wouldn't want to take advantage of this waiver? So I have a question coming in from YouTube. It's coming from Stevia Asimire. He's saying, when I fetch my VAT, it displays a huge balance outstanding. To my knowledge, I have always paid on time. How can I be helped? This is Stevia Asimire from YouTube.
Xavier, now once you get any breakdown on the payment screen and the liability is so huge, what do? One, we have our ledgers which break down that liability.
Okay.
So the best I advise you, kindly go and access your ledger. And how do you access your ledger?
You just showed us.
Let me walk through. That is what I showed you is how to get to know your outstanding principal tax.
Okay.
But how do you access your ledger?
Okay. Can do a screenshot.
Still within your account, under reports, you go and click on the tax statement. When you click on the tax statement, under view ledger, you select the option of tax position and then submit. Now, most of our taxpayers, the reason as why they have a huge running balance, yet they have been making payments, some of them were selecting the wrong periods. So you find some period has an overpayment, and the other has an outstanding.
Okay.
So what we are going to encourage our taxpayers to do, if you have any unutilized credit, maybe because you selected the wrong period when you're making a payment, you will have to first allocate that credit to the correct period.
Okay.
And you can do that through the functionality of credit/balance transfer.
Okay.
When all your credits get utilized, because some of the tax position, like the one I've displayed, if you look at my income tax, I have a huge liability and then unutilized credit. When I utilize this credit, this liability will go down. It will even wipe away some interest.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it will reduce so much from what you're seeing. So what I can encourage our sister, one, if she has any unutilized credit, I think in a day or two, we are going to avail our functionality of utilizing those credits, which you will use to utilize those credits so that your liability can reduce. Let me drill down to the second level to see the details of what comprises of this liability. You just click on a given tax type to get the details. Now, when you click on a given tax type, you will get the details of each and every tax liability. Because in this new ledger, we have the return as a standalone, we have the assessment, we have the penalty, we have the interest. Each and everything is broken down independently. In case you have a liability on any tax period, you'll be able to tell whether the cause of that liability is an assessment or a penalty, which you weren't able to tell in the old ledger. So I request each and every taxpayer to go down to their tax statements, that is the new ledger, and look out for the cause of your liability. If it is an assessment that is in dispute, I encourage you to object to it. Or any other foreign transaction that you feel is not you who made it, kindly you can reach out to us and we review so that whatever outstanding tax you have, at least you get to know the source. If it is not correct, then we have a chance to correct that liability.
Okay. Sylvia, I'm sure you've got your response. It has been very elaborate from Kristen's side. The questions are coming in heavy, Kristen. So there is Dennis Dekamanya. This is Dennis Q3 Holdings. I've just logged on. Could you kindly run us through the tax ledger? Okay, Dennis. This show is recorded, so you can be able to rewatch, the webinar from the start. Okay. So Andrew Chambade is asking from LinkedIn, please explain the waiver treatment where principal tax is 0 and interest is say 200,000, say for VAT in the month of May 2023. Would the waiver apply where principal tax is 0? Should I read it again? Did it come out?
It came out.
Okay.
We have two different types of taxpayers. We have those taxpayers that cleared up their principal tax before even 30th June 2023.
Yes.
Meaning by 30th June 2023, they had paid up all their principal tax. The question is, will such taxpayers benefit? The answer is yes. The law says if you pay up your principal by 31st December 2023, this particular taxpayer paid up by May. They were so early. So it means they also what?
Benefit.
The start date of paying up is not limited, but the end date
is the one that's capped.
Yes, is the cutoff. So all taxpayers who paid up their principal tax before 30th June 2023, they will benefit. So if you have 0 outstanding principal tax by 30th June, don't get worried. We will waive that interest because you already paid up.
Okay. Andrew? You've got your answer. Andrew must be a happy man. No. Okay. Sharua Nantega from LinkedIn as well. Are the amounts in assessment also part of the principal? Did it come out? Are the amounts in assessment also part of the principal?
Yes. Under principal tax, we have the self-assessed, which are the returns, and we have the administrative assessments. Those are ones from URA. It is either an audit or a default assessment where the taxpayer failed to file, or an additional assessment out of return examination. So for the principal tax, it is both self-assessed and administratively assessed.
Okay, there you go, Nantega is your answer. From YouTube, we have Shaban Kamisi. He's asking, can I use VAT withheld to offset my VAT principal liability?
Yes, actually from the screen I was displaying, if we can go back there. If we can go back to our screen, if you look at what I've put outside there on the screen, we have separated our payments. We have different forms of payments. We have the payments that you take to the bank directly. That's the column of PRN. Those are the payments that go to the bank. Then we have the column, because this is a ledger of VAT, if you look at the tax type. Then I have a column of WHT credits. Whenever an agent withholds from you and they file and they remit that money, and they declare that tax, they don't even have to first pay it. As long as they declare it, that they withheld from you, that money comes straight onto your ledger in the column of WHT credit. And that WHT credit, that's for VAT, it is the VAT withheld, will come and act as a payment. Okay. Even offsets are also treated as payments. So for payments, we have those 3 forms. So, and will be sorted.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Brenda Esther, she's asking, how can I read my tax ledger so that I know my position? I think we went through this at the start.
Yes.
Brenda, feel free to rewatch this video and you'll be able to catch up. Yes, that's from YouTube. And from LinkedIn again. LinkedIn is very heavy when it comes to the Live Tax Lounge. When is the actual waiver happening? Do we have to apply for it on the portal? Mary, this was responded to. The waiver is happening up until... Hello?
I have to respond to it.
Okay, yes. Mary.
One, the waiver has been automated. Once you pay up your principal, you don't have to come to your A to give you the waiver. Because since this was put in the law, if you're right, you only have to play your part of paying up the principal tax, and the waiver will automatically be awarded. Still on my illustration in the same screen, we have a column of tax waiver.
Okay.
So where you qualify for the waiver, you find figures in the column of tax waiver. And once you click on that waiver, we'll give you the details, which kind of waiver. So this particular one is 40D, is the new waiver. It will show you this waiver was given on this date, because I think the taxpayer had paid up his entire principal tax by that date and only had outstanding interest. So we awarded the waiver, 40D. Still, we have two types of waivers. There's the one that came around the COVID time, the 40C. Even those who benefited, still, when you drill down and click on any of those figures, we will tell you this is section what? We'll give you the detail of the waiver. That as of this date, 1st July 2020, you got a waiver of 40C and you benefited this tune. If you again benefited on the same period through 40D, still will come and show you. So anyone, after you've paid your money outside there, you don't have to come to your A. Just go to your tax statement, look out in the column of tax waiver, and the period where you've paid up all your principal tax or part of your principal tax after 1st July. If you make a payment after 1st July and you pay part, still you come and check out for your waiver. So the columns here speak for themselves. For taxpayers who don't have outstanding or pending objection applications, you will not have such columns. Your ledger will be summarized. Those who have never received any money from URA in terms of a refund, you will not have this column. There are columns which are not mandatory, that when you open your ledger, don't cry out for them, as I don't have this one. No, they will only apply if you have a transaction in that column.
Okay. Thank you so much, Kristen. Sure, that's clear. Paul, Tayot, asking, if I have a tax credit, say 1 million on income tax, but I have a VAT liability of 2 million, can I apply the income tax credit to the VAT liability? If yes, how do I do that? Thank you.
If you have any overpayment on a different tax type and you want to use it to clear a liability of the other tax type, you can only do that through applying for a refund. So that we can verify your declaration, and if your credit is correct, we will use that money to offset the other liability. However, if you erroneously made your payment under a given tax type, it was made for VAT and you paid under pay as you earn, you can transfer that money, that whole PRN, from VAT to pay as you earn. We have also put that online before our taxpayers would write letters. And at times would be hard to track those letters. We have put that application online. Still, you just have to go on the payment screen. There is an option of apply for payment correction or transfer. Once you click on it,
can we have a screen share? Right?
Okay, if you're erroneously paid under one tax type, you can just go to the payment screen. Then you click on apply for a payment correction or transfer. Then you put your PRN there and submit. Then you tell us, did you pay to a wrong period within the same tax type? If yes, you give us the right period. Did you pay to a wrong tax type? If yes, you give us the right tax type and the period.
Okay.
Did you pay on a wrong tin? Still is that option. Because the money might, you might have intended to pay for the director and then you pay under the company. Still through that window, you can move that payment to the right taxpayer.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Paul, are you happy now? I think Paul is happy. Okay, so we have Vincent Mwonge, Senior Tax Manager at MTN Uganda. My tax ledger had an outstanding of 18 million before the system change. Now it has an outstanding of 116 million. Clarify.
What I can reply to that, still we have to go through the tax statement and get to know why did this money increase. Is there any credit we have not allocated? Remember, the old ledger was doing the auto allocations. Even if you had wrongly registered your PRN, selected May, yet you meant April, it would auto allocate your payment. But for this new one, if you selected May, you find your overpayment under May. You just have to move it.
All right.
The question is, did the old ledger capture each and every transaction for his company? Because we are making sure that this new one captures each and everything. You may find the position he had before was the wrong one. Or when he had a missing transaction. So what we have to do is to walk through his tax statement and we check what is causing that liability.
Okay, there you go, Vincent. Okay, so there is Okumu David is asking, it's saying, my business collapsed and I'm still seeing an assessment from URA. Why?
Okay.
So, well, David, we're sorry that your business went through that hard time. Okay. Right.
What I can advise David to do, one, when you come and get a tin from URA, normally ask you, which business are you into? You give us the details of your business. God forbid, if you go through what David is going through and your business collapses, you have to come back to us and you let us know so that we can switch off your tin.
Yes.
Because if we don't switch it on, we'll assume you're still outside there operating. So I'll advise David to visit any of our nearest offices to him and domestic taxes. Yes, domestic taxes, so that he can be helped and guided on how to handle that, so that we can switch off that tin.
Okay. And it is a conversation really with your, you let us in, we guide, and it's a conversation. Paul Orion is saying thank you for this webinar. So there's flowers and thank yous coming in for you, Christine. Okay. Nabakoza Agnes is saying, okay, thanks for the update. Be blessed. That's all feedback coming in from LinkedIn. And we have some more questions. Then before we can wrap up, it's already been like 30 minutes. Okay. Okay, this is an anonymous. Anonymous is asking, hello, if a period of January 2021 is assessed in November 2023, and this assessment is to be paid before 31st December 2023, What happened to the interest arising from this assessment for the period July 2023 to November 2023? Because the interest from January 21 to June 23 would have been waived. Should I go again?
The key word in our waiver is when are you paying and which period has a liability. Now, January 2021 is within the scope.
Yes.
Because not part of the June to date period, the 2023 period.
Okay.
So since it is within the scope of the waiver, what is required of you is to make a payment before 31st December 2023 lapses.
Okay.
So once you make that payment, you will get the waiver.
Okay. Okay. There you go, Anonymous. What happens to interest for periods where there's no principal? What happens to interest for periods where there's no principal? I think
We had answered
I
that.
went through this. I think some people are just joining in, like now, but watch the recording. How can I utilize my credits to offset my liability? We went through that as well. This is from Bernard, who is different. Okay. Anonymous again from Zoom. I'm a taxpayer in Kisoro who does small wedding business. I was registered with details of a motorcycle dealer in Barara and have always presented my true credentials to Kabale tax office. But the estimated assessment that you assumed has never been waived off. Meanwhile, I annually pay my tax as I know from my earning. How far does it take? Okay, for you to clean a register after I've presented you the facts. How quickly does this reflect?
Okay. It's called Bernard?
No, this one is Anonymous.
Anonymous.
Okay,
Okay, Mr. Anonymous or Mrs.
No.
Anonymous. One thing you have to do, once you are assessed by URA, there's a procedure of dealing with that assessment. And the procedure is going through the objection. So what is required of you is to go and lodge an objection. It might be after the 45 days. We have an option of requesting for an extension to object. Because normally, when we assess, we give you the 45 days. But even when they lapse, there's an opportunity of applying for an extension to object. So I'm advising him through maybe his tax agent, or if he doesn't have one, still he can go back to the Kisoro office, ask them to take him through the procedures of objecting to that liability.
Okay. Yeah.
And once he objects, he'll go through that process and that assessment will be removed since he has his basis and evidence.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
to be handled.
To be handled. Okay, there you go. Anonymous attendee. Another anonymous attendee. Hello, in case I paid a liability to my company TIN instead of my personal TIN as a director. I think you're hinted on this. Can I transfer the payment from my company TIN to my personal TIN as a director?
Yes, you can. I said we have a functionality of apply for payment correction or payment transfer under the payment screen. Right now, some taxpayers may not be having it, but by end of this week, everyone will have it. Everyone. So you got that screen and you click on the option taxpayer to taxpayer, because it means that a mistake, which is moving a payment from the director to the company. Even if to the company, to the director, still
taxpayer to taxpayer.
Yes, you select the option of taxpayer to taxpayer and the application will come through to your
Okay, there you go. And Sevia again comes in with another question. When an agent withholds and declares VAT from me, does the system auto-read this credit? Because I realize I have many credits and yet they are not credited to my VAT ledger.
Oh, now, once the withholding agent files the return and they declare you, that credit automatically goes to your ledger. But the reason as why some of our taxpayers miss out, once they withhold from them, they don't follow up to the detail on the certificate to see that their TIN has been declared. The unique identifier we have as URA is a TIN. Once the withholding agent does not declare your TIN, you will miss out.
Okay.
Right now, we have made the TIN mandatory, but way back it was not mandatory. So go to your certificates you were given, look out the payee details, make sure your TIN was declared. If it was not declared, it's not the end of it all. Kindly contact us. Actually contact my unit. It can be through a letter.
Okay.
You write to manager debt management unit. You can send us an email. You can also raise the ticket on your touch point. So we receive queries from different avenues.
Yeah.
So if you're one of the taxpayers who missed out on your credits because the withholding agent did not declare your TIN, kindly reach out and you'll be assisted.
Okay. There you go. Wow. So there's Moses who's saying, Rachite tukoze eyo Luganda. We shall do one. We want
We'll
to be
have
as
one.
inclusive as possible, so we'll do another one for Luganda for Moses and
some other taxpayers.
Yeah, many other
Nayo
taxpayers.
Nyankole. All languages.
Yeah, everyone has to be catered for. Okay. Okay. Desire. I think Desire Ruben will be our last one. Before we can call it a session. Desire is asking, is there a possibility of extending the deadline for the tax waiver payments?
That possibility is not going to be there. Reason being, this waiver came through a tax law. To have a law change is a very long procedure. Yes. It has to go back to the parliament. Then it has to be presented to the president. Really a long process, which we cannot assure you that we'll be able to push. So in order not to miss out, don't anticipate the extension because it has something to do with the law. Kindly, let's all fight and fit in within 31st December 2023.
Okay. Yes, true. Desire Ruben still had 2 questions. He's asking, in the new system, when payments are done, we don't receive payment notification emails, especially for payments via mobile money.
Oh, that's a system glitch because for some taxpayers, they get notifications. And from our side, actually, if my screen can be displayed, when you go under reports, we have notifications there, and I have different notifications, even for the payment, because I have a payment that came through on the 31st of October 2023. When I click on it, I get the details. Maybe you're having a challenge on your side, and I'm going to escalate it to our IT team to make sure that everyone gets the notification.
Okay. There you go, Ruben.
Thank you for that feedback.
Yes, that's very helpful, and that's why we have these engagements, these shows, to get feedback and to connect to the taxpayers. And this is we have a lot of feedback. So, Kristen, I'm going to hold you down for another 2, right?
No problem.
No problem. Okay. Kenneth Minge, the outstanding liability on my tax ledger differs from what was shared on a demand notice by URA. How do I harmonize this?
One, when we are doing the tax enforcement, at times we enforce on what we call normal flow.
Okay.
Someone might send a demand for only the return of a particular period that you filed and you didn't pay. But they didn't send for the total liability you have on your tax statement.
Okay.
For you to be able to harmonize this, because URA is trying to be transparent as much as we can, kindly go to your tax statement, go to the detail, which we call level 2. Look out for the details on each and every period. And where you find a discrepancy, where you feel things are not tallying, we have a team on Upper Ground, which you can reach out either through the URL touch point, or you can still call us or send an email. And then we help you out for any sort of, you can even physically visit us.
Yes, you can come.
You can visit us and we walk you through so that we sort that issue out.
Okay.
Yes.
There you go, Kenneth. I think your question has been ably responded to. And Kamia Vicent from LinkedIn, my CIT ledger has an outstanding penalty of 794 million with 67 million in interest with 0 principal tax. How do I get the penalty and interest waived? I think a settlement.
That's for which period?
He didn't specify. Come here, if you could specify the period, then we'd guide you better. Okay, to our taxpayers, thank you for bringing in those questions. This has been a good session. I'm sure you're benefiting, and we're also benefiting from your feedback. We don't take it for granted, so thank you. At this moment, I'll take some questions from Twitter because we haven't had anyone from that side of life. Okay, there is okay. Ian Tayewa is saying, hello, how can I gain access to IFRIS API and its documentation for integration purposes? Okay, we'll handle that in an IFRIS webinar. We always have those. So Ian, just hold on to that. I'm seeing out. Okay, then there is Fidel. Fidel is saying, I'm seeing outstanding liability and unutilized credit. Please explain.
Okay, as I am going to echo this,
This is our last one.
when the law changed in July 2021, the payment allocation law rules, the taxpayer had to choose which liability they're paying for. If you were to notice, from August 2021, whenever a taxpayer would be making a payment, we would ask them to select which period they are paying for. Some of our taxpayers would just select any period.
Okay.
So those who made mistakes and selected periods without liabilities, your payments were posted there. Because we have no mandate to allocate them to any period. So that's why you have some periods unpaid and others with overpayment. Now, when your ledger has 2 tax positions, you're going to reconcile it yourself.
Okay.
You will have to allocate the excess credit to a period with a liability. And you're going to do that using the functionality of credit stroke balance transfer. That will be working within one tax type, within the same tax type. If you have a credit, maybe we can go to the screen. If you have a credit in period A, let me click on that. How do you access the functionality? You go to the payment screen still, then credit stock balance transfer. You come and tell us which tax type has that problem. Like here you say it is in VAT.
Yes.
You click on VAT. Then we'll ask you which period has the credit. Because now for that taxpayer, they have to go on their tax statement, click on the tax type, and they see the periods with the credits.
Okay.
So once you see where the credit is, come here and tell us the credit is in maybe August 2023. If you have the credit there, once you click on search, it will tell you you have a credit of this much. And we will enable you to move it to the different periods. You can move to one period, a portion, and also this particular one has no credit because I randomly selected. So once we give you that window, you'll be able to move your credit from period A to period B, and to fully get utilized, so that you only have one position, either outstanding or a credit position. So all those taxpayers with the two positions, by closure of this week, would have given you this functionality, and then you move your credits from those particular periods to the periods where they're outstanding. Tax.
Thank you very much, Kristen. It has been an interesting morning. It has been a morning filled with learning, and I'm sure our taxpayers have learned a lot. To our taxpayers who have tuned in from the start of the webinar, Kenneth Minge, Kamia Vincent, Philip Mudoku, thank you so much for being part of the program, and we look forward to having you again next week. Kristen, please share your closing remarks to the taxpayers and we'll wrap up.
Thank you, taxpayers, for tuning in. We as URA, we are here to serve you, and we are going to keep on improving on our services. Bringing this new ledger is not the end of it all. One, we welcome your advice, your remarks, because it's from your feedback that we keep on improving. So kindly share your feedback. Where you face any challenge, contact us to walk you through, because this new ledger has come with so many applications. Some have not been able to walk you through, like the gross payment account, where you can deposit your money. Maybe the signatory is going to be away from the country. They can deposit money on any of their accounts, and that money can be used to offset any tax liability, be it on a different company, be it on the directors, be it on anything, so they don't have to incur interest. So we have very many things that we have to put out to you there. The gross payment account is already working. For those who are interested on how it works, you just go to generate a payment slip. Then under tax type, instead of selecting a given tax type, select gross domestic payment and make that payment. Time for utilizing it, still you go to the payment screen and select transfer credit from the gross account. So these are all items that are going to help out our taxpayers. If you look at the list I've displayed on the payment screen, most of the things are new, but we are doing this to improve on our services. And you do us proud when you tune in, whenever we have new things to put across. Kindly share your feedback. We are ready to keep on improving. Whoever faces a challenge on their new tax ledger, on their new tax statement, we said you can reach us. You can reach out to us through the URL touch point. You can send me an email on simirembe@ura.go.ug, simirembe@ura.go.ug. You can also give me a call, that is on 0772 14 14 77. You can also still write to us later. You can address it to manage your debt management unit. So we are here to support you. Don't face a challenge and you feel disadvantaged. Don't feel like you're is here to impose things on you. Once you meet any transaction in your tax statement that you don't understand, we're also here to serve you like banks. Because the banks say, walk to your bank and you'll be here. Walk to URA. You can come physically, or you can use those other avenues I've shared with you. We are here to serve you. Kindly don't feel disadvantaged outside there.
That's true. You're not on your own. We are
partners. We are here with you, and we'll stand with you. We'll make sure before you make a payment of any penny, even if it's 1,000 shillings, at least you understand the source of the 1,000 shillings. We'll have another webinar of taking you through on how you can even verify your interest on the tax statement, on how you can check how your payments are allocated. We had a short time today. Someone requested for the Uganda session.
Yes.
I guess the organized one.
Organized one, definitely.
So in conclusion, I think we'll come back for another webinar to walk through to the detail of how can I verify my transactions. Because we have not had that chance. In this one, we're only introducing to you the new tax ledger, the tax statement. How can I access it? How can I benefit from the waiver? I guess in the next one, we'll have to walk you through on how can I verify my transactions. Thank you, our viewers, and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Christine. You have been an amazing resource, and we cannot wait to have you on and on. Taxpayer, we're always grateful that you tune in. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your questions. It was a very interesting session, and because you tuned in and you shared with us your questions, don't forget we are partners in developing Uganda together, and when we work together, we'll take our country to the moon. Thank you, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together. Uganda Revenue Authority, develop.
The Taxpayer Appreciation Season is back! We recognize, celebrate and award men and women building Uganda, filing and paying their taxes on time. Be part of the exciting lineup of activities, including the football derby, where the URA legends and senior management will battle it out with communities in the East, West, Central and Northern Uganda. Mpairi City Yange Grand Finale will crown it all. Stand a chance to win amazing prizes like gift hampers, smartphones and many more. For details, contact us on the following address lines.
We celebrate Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
This meeting has been with the landlords of Kampala. This is the metropolitan area as well as the suburbs around the city. As you saw for yourselves, the turn-up was extremely good. In fact, we were overwhelmed to receive the number of people. Going forward, we will definitely call them in their specific sects so that we can have, but it has been a very successful engagement. We have shared with the landlords of this city of Kampala on the new direction we are taking, where every citizen and every person who is playing any role in the economy and running any economic activity must pay their fair share of tax. So the rental income tax is one of the tax heads that has been performing poorly. Despite the growth of about 100% over the last 3 years, it is still far below the expected capacity.